Hello everyone, welcome. Today I'm going to talk about the plant-based fermented beverage Miki. I'll talk about what it is, where it comes from, what it means, the health benefits, and also its various uses. Before we get started, I'd like to briefly introduce myself. My name is Tomoko Ozawa. I'm a pianist and composer. I was born and raised in Japan until I was 14 and I lived in Boston. And 12 years ago, I moved to Boston to study piano performance and composition. And in 2017, I relocated to Southern California to pursue my doctoral degree and also in performance and composition. And beside music, I've always been passionate and curious about food. How it affects our body, mind, and our feelings. I've been practicing macrobiotic diet and remedies for the past 15 years, more than 15 years. So whenever I feel sick or something going on in my body or my feelings, I try to cure myself using foods or plants by taking them internally or just holding or feeling the vibrations. In 2020, I happened to go back to Japan for 9 months because the university was closed down during the pandemic. And while I was in Japan, my mother started learning about this fermented beverage that is really good for your gut health and somehow sacred. And I was so curious, so as soon as she started making it, I also started consuming it daily. And I was fascinated not only by its delicious taste and how it's so versatile in cooking, but also how it helped me connect to myself more deeply and somehow awakened my sensibility. And last March in 2021, I came back to California, and since then I started introducing my Miki to the local people and started teaching privately, online, and in person. And today I'd like to introduce some of the basic information about Miki as well as some secrets around Miki that are not often discussed or can be found on the internet, especially in English. So I hope that you will enjoy. So what is Miki? Miki is a 100% plant-based probiotic beverage. It's made of rice, sweet potato, and water. That's it. So those are the three visible forms of ingredients, and there are also invisible ingredients that we will discuss later. 1 cc of Miki contains at least 100 million probiotics. So in 1 tablespoon, that would be approximately 500 million. That's like the minimum number. So the people who have been making Miki for years would have much more probiotics. For instance, my Miki teacher in Japan, her Miki, like 1 cc of her Miki contains approximately 3 billion probiotics, and it tastes so amazing. It is non-alcoholic and it's safe for all ages, for human and also animals. And it's a popular healthy drink in Amami Oshima in Japan. That's where it originated from. This is how it's sold in grocery store. Next to like regular dairy drinks like milk. This is amazake, and these are bottles of Miki. And so people in Amami Oshima would know what it is, but these commercially sold Miki contains sugar, and traditionally Miki does not need sugar, but it's just that sugar would help fermentation, and I guess it's easier to make. And my recipe does not contain any sugar. of sweetener. And these are variations of Miki, like this is banana flavor Miki yogurt, kiwi flavor, and this is the regular Miki. So it originated in Amami Oshima Island. I'm gonna talk a little bit about the location and the nature, cultures in this area, because Miki is part of the tradition that is very unique and different from that of mainland Japan. So here's a map of Japan, like sweet potato shape, and mainland. This is Kyushu Island, and further down in the south, there are tiny tropical islands, and Amami Oshima is located between Kagoshima Prefecture and Okinawa. It's right here, this part. This area, like not only Amami, but Amami Oshima and Okinawa, these areas are very well known for longevity. People have longer life expectancy. And the Amami Oshima was recently registered as World Natural Heritage. And this is the reason why it was registered as World Heritage. Look at this ocean, and you would not see this kind of beautiful ocean around mainland. And there are many coral reefs all around the island and sea turtles. And this is actually the very reason why it was recognized for its abundant nature, like a World Heritage. There's big forest that has been preserved untouched, and it's a home for a lot of endemic species and surrounded by mangrove. So they have a very unique and different culture because of its location being far away from the mainland, but also closer to China and Taiwan. So they have a long history of being occupied by neighbor nations. Around 15th and 16th century, it was part of Ryukyu dynasty. So there's a lot of influence from China. Like you would see Chinese influence in their buildings. And from 17th century, it was part of Satsuma domain. So they have a long history of being suppressed, controlled by other countries and nations. Despite being in those situations, they've always kept their own beliefs. They have a folk belief that is based on Shintoism and animism, and those beliefs are based on belief in gods, in nature, and appreciation for ancestors who have been carrying our lives and sending us unconditional love from above. And a lot of stories, myths, and tales are passed on orally through folk songs, god songs, and proverbs. So most of the things are not documented in a written format. That's why it's hard to find when or what happened. So, what is Miki? It was an offering of sake to God. So this is how we write Miki in Japanese. So it was originally Omiki. O is a sound we place in front of noun to put more respect, place respect to the meaning of the noun. And mi is represented by the character of God. And this character, ki, is sake, a drink. So basically, Miki is a sacred God drink. God's sacred drink. And it was only made by female priests, not male, because a female were considered the only people who could communicate with God. And these females were called Noro. And their job, so these are the people of Noro actually practicing the rituals. Their job was to communicate with God as a medium. I put gods because there are multiple gods in Shintoism. And they pray for the productiveness of grain and prosperity. They welcome the spirits of ancestors in rituals, and they also celebrate the fertility and prosperity. And what it means really is that Miki was chewing sake. It was Kuchi-kami-zake. Kuchi means mouth. Kami is God. Zake is sake. It just changed the sound depending on how the word is ordered. And when you chew things in your mouth, you combine multiple things. You bind, you chew, right? And the different things, multiple things become one as you chew. So Miki means it means to unite two different worlds together. And examples of two different worlds are, one example is this. Mi, the sound mi means fruit or something tangible, like this reality, materials that we can see and we can feel. And the opposite of mi is the ki, which means chi or energy in Japanese. So the two different things are one is tangible, one is intangible or invisible. And another example is rice and water. And rice for us is very special. It is one of our staple foods traditionally. And each rice is not just a grain, it is a seed which carries lives of us and our ancestors. So that is what nurtured us, what carried our lives through our blood. It became part of us, it became our flesh. So the rice is a tangible form, and then water is the intangible one, which carries the spirits of the land where it was collected. So Miki uses rice and water. So rice, fermented version of rice. So like by uniting those two, you combine the spirits of the land and also the lives, the source of life together. Yeah. So Miki basically means combining tangible and intangible together. So what it does is that it nourishes your body from your gut, intestine, and helps you gain clarity in your mind and helps you develop your spirituality, and also helps you connect with Mother Earth, the nature. So what it really means is that it is a gift to God, but it's actually a gift from God, in which the world of invisible and world of visible, the invisible is manifested as a tangible form, Miki, if that makes sense. So it's a form of prayer. It carries all the spirits and life force that are invisible, but they are manifested as something that we can see and touch and consume. It's a form of Miki. That's what it is. So the act of making Miki is actually a gesture to transform the invisible into a visible and tangible form. And as you make Miki, you will be not only working with tangible ingredients, rice, water, and sweet potato, but also the spirits of the land, water, and the bacteria that are invisible. So these are the invisible ingredients that are so important and necessary in making Miki. So, what are the benefits of Miki? Obviously, it has a lot of probiotics, so it helps grow more good bacteria in your intestine, not just in your gut, but actually in your whole body. Anyway, so it helps you if you have constipation. It will help you with that, or diarrhea, bloating, and it also helps your skin condition. It sort of like moisturizes your skin, so as a result it does reduce wrinkles, and it will help you like smooth out any rough surface, and also clears and brightens your skin. If you have any sunspots or age spots, it can help you with that. I'm working on it, but I do think that my skin is a lot smoother and my skin's become a little whiter, I think, because I don't just consume Miki internally, I also put it everywhere. I put it on my face as facial mask, and it just feels amazing. Okay, mind and mood. Yes, when you take Miki, you would feel that there's a sense of peace. You would feel grounded. You will have more mental clarity, and it can also uplift your mood and increase your energy level. So in Japan, like sumo wrestler, sumo wrestlers, they would drink Miki before going to battle, or it's also recommended for patients in hospitals or pregnant women before going to labor. Okay, and there's more benefits. It can help you help lower high blood pressures, and this is very important. It can enhance your immune system, and it also helps you lose weight if you do need to. And if you're the opposite kind of person, if you want to gain more weight, it will help you with that, because what it does that it picks up waste from the gut intestine, so that your system would absorb necessary nutrition that's necessary for your body. So if your body knows that you need more nutrition, it would pick up more nutrition into the body and optimize your weight. And my own experience, I had a sort of embarrassing experience during the first week of consuming Miki. As soon as I started taking Miki, I started to smell. My body odor became pretty bad, and it was noticeable. And I was so embarrassed, and I told my mom, like, I think I smell. But then, like after maybe 3-4 days of smelling so bad, it disappeared, and I don't wear it. I don't need to use any deodorant right now. I think it did help detoxify some of the waste from my body. Another thing, I didn't always have constipation, but sometimes when I'm going through a stressful time, or when I'm not in a regular routine, I would have constipation. But ever since I started taking Miki, I have none of that. This is not something to share in public, but just as a reference, I visit my bathroom in the morning on average 3 times in the morning. If I only go once in the morning, I'd be worried. I go to bathroom like so a few times in the morning, and then every time I like after I eat something, after lunch or after dinner. So if I take something in, my body makes sure to let go of what's not necessary. And I don't currently have any major health issues, but I do feel that my skin is a lot smoother, and I do have much better mental clarity, and I am more aware of things around me, and also inside of me. I'm able to pick up small signs that happen internally and also outside. What else? I don't know. I think I'm a very happy, healthy person in general. Yeah, anyway. Here are some of the pictures of the foods and sweets that use Miki. This one is a mushroom pizza with it's a pizza on portobello mushroom, and Miki is used in this vegan cheese I make. And these are Miki cheese raw cake. And this is my recent creation. It's a chocolate banana walnut cake with Miki whipped cream. And this is Miki pesto, vegan mayo, soup, squash, kabocha, pumpkin. This is apple, sweet potato bread, gluten-free bread. So Miki can be used in so many different ways. The possibility is endless, and I'm still discovering new ways as I continue to make and use Miki every day. Okay, and lastly, I want to share with you some of the common questions that I received around Miki, and I hope I can cover most of your questions. How much should I take? You can take as much as your body wants. In the morning, I take 2 to 3 tablespoons of Miki and put it in my smoothie. That's it. But during the day, when I feel that I need extra boost, or I don't know, or when I don't feel like eating anything solid, I just sip a little bit of Miki, and I feel like I'm a new person again. So I'd say talk to your body. Start with small amount and see how it feels. And you can of course use it in different recipes. What's the best time to take it? Anytime, with or without meal. It's not a supplement. It's a food. It's a beverage. You can drink it anytime. But as I said, I like to take it first thing in the morning after drinking a glass of water. Yeah, so I would take it in the morning every day, but sometimes when I'm having an intense day, I'd carry diluted Miki with me and then sip throughout the day. Or when before going to bed, if I'm hungry and don't feel like eating or making something, I just take a little bit of Miki and I feel good. Okay, next, how long does it last? This is actually difficult. It won't go bad. It can last for months or years. if you keep it nicely, not contaminated. But even if you keep it in the refrigerator, it would continue to ferment. So if you don't want it to go too sour or too fizzy, I'd say you should finish it within 2 weeks or freeze it if you want to stop fermenting. Can I heat it up? Yes, you can. However, if you heat too much, it will kill the probiotics. So if you want to take the full benefits of active live probiotics, I suggest you take it at room temperature or cold. But even if the probiotics die, they would still feed the good bacteria in your body, so it won't go waste. Okay? Is it difficult to make? No, it is not. It is simple. However, I know that some people find it difficult, but of course, there are some tips. But when I teach Miki, I will make sure that everyone makes good Miki. And there is no bad Miki. It's just that it's a process. The past 2 years, I have not failed a single time except one time when construction was going on in my room and a lot of dust got into my pot of Miki. Other than that, I have never failed. But I know that some people have trouble making it or making it ferment. The most typically, it is because of the quality of the rice or the water or the environment in your room or the bacteria on your body. If the rice is conventionally grown, it still has some pesticides or chemicals left on the outer shell of the rice, even though the white rice, is the brown is already removed. It still has some chemicals left. So Miki can also be made with brown rice, but it's just that if the shell, the brown is still dead, there's more chemicals that could have been left, so it ferments. There's better chance of succeeding with white rice. Anyway, so I would use the best rice you can find, the kind of rice you feel most connected to. I use rice from agriculture farm. I purchased from Wholesome Essence in Pasadena. You can order online as well. So organic is better, but even organic rice uses fertilizer that can weaken rice, and that can also prevent Miki to ferment. So the best option is natural agriculture, but I know that it's not always accessible to everyone. So I would say just you can start with your own rice as long as you use. So it comes down to ingredients. As long as you use good tanemiki, which is the Miki starter, it would most likely succeed. So for water, I use filtered water, and I also make it structured water, and I use hydrogen water as well. But filtered water or spring water is recommended, I would say. So these are the tangible, visible ingredients that we've been talking: rice, water, and sweet potato. How long does it take to ferment? During summertime, it would only take less than a day, like overnight. And in winter, if it's cold, it might take more than 3 days to start fermenting. But if it doesn't ferment, you could sort of warm it up with. I know that some people put it in hot water, not boiling hot water, just but warm water to heat it up, warm it up to be precise. How can I learn to make Miki? I promise that I will start offering workshops locally and online, and I will let you know on my Instagram, or if you are on my mailing list, I will send out information. Can I taste Miki or purchase it? Yes, I take my Miki and offer free samples on the first Sunday of the month to a place in Pasadena. So if you are around, you can message me and then I will send you the information. Or you can come pick it up from my place. Unfortunately, I cannot ship it. I've tried shipping it to my friends in New York and Florida, and because there's no temperature control during shipping, it's just not good. Miki explodes. That's the fact. It at high temperature, it would really activate, and unfortunately, by the time it arrives, more than half of the Miki is exploded and evaporated. So it's not good. However, I can also make dehydrated powder form Miki, and that can also kickstart the fermentation, and I can ship it to you if you're in America. Yep. I think these are all I've got. And before we close, I want to share with you an interesting story and message from Miki and about Miki. So, in the beginning, I mentioned briefly that stories and myths, tales of the history of Amami Oshima were passed on orally through songs. And there's a phrase that talks about, that implies about Miki, and it appears in several God songs, folk songs. And it is Akawan no Yonaoshi in Japanese, and which means makeover of the world by the Red Bull. That's why I pour my Miki in Red Bull. And what it really means is that okay, so there was a time it's not known when exactly, but during Yayoi period, wet rice agriculture started, which was a big shift from Jomon period, when the economy was based on hunting, gathering, and fishing. So in Yayoi period, right after Jomon period, people started agriculture, growing rice. But as soon as they started it, economy did grow. However, it increased the gap between the poor and the rich, and also differences between social statuses. And what happens is that people started fighting over rights and properties. And so during the period of Yayoi, there were a lot of battles and wars and killing and hurting. And while that was going on, there was this new idea brought by the divine feminine energy, brought by the female priest Noro. It was to bring back the peace by promoting by delivering Miki, by dedicating Miki to God and also consuming it themselves. What it does is that it improves their health from the gut and also helps everyone connect to themselves and also connect with God and cultivates a connection with Mother Earth and the nature. So that was the idea of controlling the world, ruling the world without hurting or killing, but cultivating inner peace physically, mentally, and spiritually. So because when you consume Miki, it does help your health, physical health, and also you start to become more aware of what's happening in your mind. You start to notice what you feel, like what you want to do right in this moment and what you want to do in your life. And when you start noticing what you want to do, you start acting on it and you start feeling more fulfilled and happy. And that's how one can cultivate peace and happiness, I believe. So that is complete opposite idea of controlling the world. It's about controlling or owning your own health, your mind. So that's what Miki does. And I feel that this makeover of the world by promoting one's health and peace is extremely important this time. And I do believe that Miki can help you with that. And I would like to start teaching Miki more so that you can enjoy and experience the miracles and good things in your body and around you. And I will be announcing more events, local and online, on my Instagram. So I would invite you to follow me, or if you don't have Instagram, you can join my mailing list. You can email me. So that is it for today. Thank you very much for being with me during the webinar. I appreciate you. I hope to connect with you in some way on my Instagram or in my workshop or in other events. Thank you. Bye.